You want to open up the Louisville Live this morning legal line, 502-267-2422, 502-267-2422. Ricky Jones, certainly very talkative and callers, people wanting to know about health care. Karl Truman is here, and he deals with workers' comp, deals with disability, Social Security, if you're involved in an accident. So, Karl, I want to ask you, health care, you heard some of those callers, a lot of anger out there, a lot of concern. People need health care, and some people aren't getting it, and as Brenda said, not as fast.
Well, that's true, and that's an issue that I deal with every day with my clients. I mean, and I don't have the solution for the nation's health care problems by any means, but I do see people every day that come to see me and can't get, they're hurt in an accident, automobile accident, or some type of injury, and they can't get to the doctor because they don't have any health insurance. And in an automobile accident, a lot of times one of the common questions people will ask me, they'll say, well, don't I just have the doctor send the bills to the other person's insurance company? Aren't they going to pay my bills? Well, no, it doesn't work that way. You've got to get treatment in order to be able to recover and document your injuries to prove your case. And I even hear doctors and hospitals want to say, oh, well, this is an auto accident, we're going to send the bills to the auto insurance. And in limited situations, for example, notwithstanding PIP to pay some bills, but you can't just send the bills to the other person's insurance company. And so with no health insurance, it's tough. Seriously injured clients, even if they go past the PIP benefits, seriously injured clients can't get treatment because they don't have health insurance. And one of the other points that Dr. Jones had talked about that he and I were chatting before the show, there's a federal law called ERISA, E-R-I-S-A, stands for the Employee Retirement Income Security Act. But basically this is a federal law that protects health insurance companies. And we've been hearing in the media lately about these obscene profits that health insurance companies are making. And the federal law protects them. If you have health insurance and and your health insurance company says, no, we're not going to pay for this cancer treatment. Our doctor reviewed it and we don't think that it's medically necessary and we're not going to pay for it. You can't go sue them. You cannot go sue your health insurance company because they're protected under the federal ERISA
Why
law.
not? Why can't? I mean, there's got to be maybe you put a limit on it or a cap on something. But if someone in an office makes a decision because based on all the cases they see, and they go through dozens and dozens and hundreds of cases a week, why should you not sue? Even if it's those 10 out of 1,000 or 10 out of 10,000 that slip through the cracks, why should you not be able to go after them?
Well, and that's a very good question. That's one of the questions that I wish people would ask about the federal ERISA law that protects them. I mean, you could sue them, but if you're dying from cancer and you need this treatment, first of all, if you win, it's going to take years to get through court, and if you win, you can't get compensatory damages, like other pain and suffering or other injuries that they've caused you for the delay. If you win, the best case scenario for you is for them to have to pay for the treatment they should have paid to begin with. So for the insurance company, it's a no-lose situation. Worst case scenario for them, if you go to court and win, which again takes a long time to get through the process, if you go to court and win, the only thing they're out is to pay the bill they should have paid in the beginning. So there's no other punitive measures that you can go against them. And the other thing that I deal with health insurance companies under this ERISA law is that if your health insurance company pays for medical bills, there's what's called subrogation, meaning that when we recover for your claim, part of that is for medical bills. And so they do have a right to get paid back, for paying bills. But under this ERISA law, typically an insurance company would have to share, like since you incur attorney's fees, and you may not even recover if you have, for example, I've got clients right now that have, $100,000 in medical bills, but the policy limit that we can recover is only $100,000. I mean, their claim may very well be worth much more than that. So under this federal ERISA law, the health insurance company may very well try to step in and say, okay, we're taking your entire settlement, because under the federal law we're allowed to take everything.
And I know, Carl, you would suggest, whether it's Congressman John Yarmouth here in Louisville, or Barron Hill in southern Indiana, or your states, your U.S. senators in both states, and call them, let them know how you feel about what Carl's talking about, this law. Let them know how you feel about health care and any other issue. That's the best way to register a complaint or satisfaction with the federal government. We're taking your calls this morning, 502-267-2422. But we do have an email from Thomas in Louisville relating to this topic. With more baby boomers getting older, are hospitals, doctors, and the government able to deal with those who may be disabled? I'm not sure if this is what your legal lawyer talks about, but I'm curious how it is all going to work. I'm 59 and have a partial disability due to a work accident 10 years ago. Thanks, Thomas in Louisville. Thank you for that email to Karl Truman and the Louisville Legal Line. So he's concerned about how it's all going to work as baby boomers get older and go into the system.
Well, we're talking about a couple different things there. First of all, if he's referring to Social Security disability, I mean, obviously, you know, when you turn 65, they're going to be on Medicare benefits for paying medical bills. As far as disability, if you become totally disabled, and under Social Security, there is no partial disability. You have to be totally disabled to get any benefits. So under Social Security disability, if you're totally disabled, and when you turn 65, then it switches over to Social Security retirement benefits. So, you know, as it is true that as baby boomers get older, I mean, there is going to be more pressure on the system and more, you know, financial needs. I mean, all of us that have been paying into Social Security for years, that is going to put an increasing burden on the system, and paying for that is going to be a concern.
Karl Truman is here with the Louisville Live this morning legal line. Before we let you go, got to ask you about the floods, the 5 inches of rain or more. Last week we had 1.5 inches, 2 inches overnight. People were waterlogged, they're soaked. I know you have to have federal flood insurance in those low-lying areas, but if people are concerned about, they do have insurance, sewer and drain backup or something that covers it, and they're having a little squabble with an insurance company, how should they deal with this?
Well, first of all, of course, talk to your insurance agent to really understand your coverage, because when you get into water damage, it gets very complicated, and one of the problems that I feel for many people in this flood, because there's a lot of people who got flooded that were not in a floodplain, that had houses that have never been flooded, but yet because of the water backup that couldn't drain away fast enough, they don't have flood insurance, and so they were flooded. And those people are hurting now.
Well, I'll tell you what I did back after the 97 flood. Luckily, I was not living in the house I was in now, but I purchased, it's a rider on your regular homeowner's account. It's called Sewer and Drain Backup, Sewer and Drain Backup Insurance. It's not that expensive at all, but it covers 5 or 6 items, including rugs, heating units, things like that, if there's a sewer and drain backup. And that's probably what happened with a lot of people. It just backed up into their homes, and you would have been covered. So as Karl said, talk to your insurance company and get information. And if you need Karl on workers' comp, disability, Social Security, and if you've been involved in an accident, it's 1-800-ACCIDENT, TrumanLaw.com, and he has a blog and just so much wealth of information, and we're out of time. So next Tuesday, Karl will be back. We'll be talking about back to school with kids. And I believe you're in later this week?
Thursday.
We have a special treat to have Karl back Thursday. You have to be here Thursday to find out what he's coming in for. But I know kids are back in school. City schools open up this week, Catholic schools next week, and I know that you want to make sure everybody stays safe out there.
Yeah, and watch that texting and cell phones while you're in driving.
Thanks, Karl.
All right, thank you.
Still ahead on Louisville.